Hello everyone, welcome back to In the Yard Podcast with your hosts Collin and Braeden Cox, and today we are joined by our technical producer, my brother Brayden, and us three yesterday just watched the brand new movie Across the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales universe of Spider-Man animated, and we're going to talk about that right here on In the Yard coming up. So Brayden, I guess I'll start with you, Brayden. What is your overall take of the movie? Like, just 1 out of 10, what's your number and why?
I would say 10.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just because I just saw it and I'm just like
bias.
so hyped for
Recency
it.
bias much? Okay.
But is that what it is?
Yeah, it's called recency bias.
Recency bias. I think I'll still like it a lot, like even in the future. But as of right now, it's like my favorite movie. Like
Better
this
than
year.
the first
this
one?
year. In some ways, I think.
Tell.
So I think it was kind of much different in the pacing, I would say,
Yeah,
for sure. But I still liked it. It kind of felt like the first part of the sequel instead of like just the definitive sequel.
Sure, right.
Because we know the third movie's coming, and they're kind of like
building
up to
yeah.
it.
I forgot to say, do not listen if you have not watched the movie yet. There will be spoilers. Sorry, I forgot to mention. I don't think we gave too much of a spoiler.
No, he didn't give any spoilers away.
I think everyone knows there's a third movie coming up. So, but yeah, do not listen if you haven't seen the movie yet. There are spoilers in here.
Or just go see it then listen.
Yeah, just go see it then listen, and we appreciate you. All right, sorry, Brett, go back.
Okay, so it's like my kind of thing is, it's like the next two movies is kind of like the whole second story, and then like the first movie is the first story, the second movie is like the first half of the second story. Because they ended it abruptly, but I like
really
it. It just makes me more hype, I guess.
Yeah.
For the next one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I agree.
I'm with you 100%. I thought it definitely met the expectations of the first, because the first was such like a surprise and smash it. Like we went in very excited for it, but like I don't think we expected it to be like arguably one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man that we've seen. Like we have Maguire, we got Garfield, we got Collin, we got like this kind of universe, even though it's animated.
Right.
A lot of people would argue this is the best adaptation of Spider-Man, even though it's not like Peter Parker, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think considering that the first one was such a surprise, everyone went into this one with like huge expectations.
Right.
And to me, it met it.
Right.
Like it was fun from the beginning. We talked about this a little bit yesterday when we saw it, but like the pacing, it was a little long. It was a little long, but it didn't feel like it like dragged like crazy. It was just like there was a lot going on.
A lot they're setting up.
Yeah.
For this
it's
third
set.
movie.
That's why.
It's a setup.
I think the third one won't be as long as this one. Because I think the third one's going to begin right where we were at this one, which would make sense.
Right.
And to me, then you're kind of already at like the peak, and we're all like, it's like we basically went up the top of the roller coaster, and now we're just riding the rest of the way down. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
sure. Yeah, I agree. So my overall take, I do think the first movie overall was better than Across. So I thought Into Spider-Verse was a better movie, had that closure, like you said.
Yeah.
This one ended very abruptly. If you guys watched, obviously we were all like anticipating this big fight at the end, and then just boom, to be continued out of nowhere. But yeah, definitely. Like I said before, it's just all set up for that third movie, which is great. But overall, from a movie standpoint, you just have to appreciate it because you know that this third movie is going to come, and you know it's going to be great. I went into this one with super high expectations, especially after that first one was so good. And like Brayden said, definitely met those expectations. Didn't exceed them, didn't under-deliver, but definitely met those expectations.
For me to really say which one's better, I need to watch it again. I would need to watch it because I've recently watched the first one again.
Yeah.
And the first one is like the origin story, so people are going to like the first one more.
Right.
It's like a superhero origin story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think people will like it. This one I need to see again because, again, there was so much going on.
Right.
Like, different arcs with different characters. And then on top of it all, it ends to be continued. So it's like, you almost need to see the third one to have like a complete idea of which one you like more. You know what I mean? So
I felt this one had a lot of callbacks to Tom Holland, Toby, and Andrew Spider-Man. Yeah. So like you saw like those like flashbacks of that big like Miguel's explaining like the canons.
Yeah.
You saw like
it flashed to Garfield, right?
It flashed to Garfield, flashed to Toby.
I didn't see it to Tom.
They referenced Tom like in the beginning.
Yeah.
With like the Doctor Strange and like
yes.
That was in the trailer I think as well.
Yeah.
That part.
So
that was only Tom Holland.
I like those callbacks. I thought those were super cool.
That I noticed.
It's cool how they're connected. How like they're okay. They're not making it separate. Like those other ones don't exist. They're making it so that they're aware that even though like there's the multiverse going on, that they're technically in the same universe.
Yeah.
So
So I like that part.
What was the biggest surprise?
What left me really shocked.
Yeah.
Was that very end when we all thought Miles was in the right universe, and then he ends up not being in the right universe,
he was in like 42
and then Uncle Aaron is holding hostage, and then in that universe 42 where that spider came from, where it was that spider was supposed to be invite that Miles Morales or Peter Parker, I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone was supposed to be Spider-Man in that universe, and no one is, and you saw in that universe like New York City is just like crazy, and then obviously Miles Morales in that universe turns out to be the Prowler, which I thought I didn't see coming. I don't know why I didn't see coming.
I thought it was gonna be his dad.
I thought it was gonna be his dad.
I thought it was gonna be his dad. I thought that the arc of the next movie was going to be him fighting to save his dad's life in one universe or in one timeline.
That's fair.
But then also fighting his dad in another timeline. Yeah. But the fact that he's gonna be fighting himself, I think, will be a cool. That would definitely be a cool movie. Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna end up being a fight, or do you think he's just gonna end up getting out of there, kind of thing? Like
the one when he's fighting himself.
Yeah, like in that. Well, so right now he's in that universe 42, Earth 42. 42. Yeah.
I think he's gonna have to get out of it because the end goal is to save his dad, right?
Right.
They're gonna make that definitely a huge arc in the movie, him fighting himself. I don't know how much of the movie it'll take place.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping is the third movie begins right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think it will.
Right there.
Kind of like a Far From Home, No Way Home thing.
Yes.
Where like right where they ended it, they left
literally
off.
like.
I imagined it because it just ended so abruptly.
Peter Parker
there was something that was going to happen next.
Peter Parker sees himself like exposed to everyone across the world. The third movie starts. Right. Same spot.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's get into the animation because that's a big thing when it comes to these movies. Is obviously the animations in it. What were your overall takes? I thought there was a lot more animation this time around, than the first one.
Sure.
Which I don't know if I liked it that way or not. Like I think I like a little more simple.
So you're saying that there was more animation in this one?
Like more detail, you mean?
There's just more going on in the animations, in that one scene when Gwen Stacy finally gets her, the color were changing, her hair color was changing, like with the wall, with her emotions. I mean, I think it's cool, but at the same time, it's a lot going on.
What do you think?
I think
go ahead.
That was kind of their way of defining each universe because each one did have its own artistic style, and I think, and I really like that because you kind of don't have to memorize which universe is which. You can just kind of tell by the visuals, what colors they're using.
Yeah, if we're talking about Earth 43, right? I think it's
42.
42, where
so
he's actually from.
Yeah, Earth 1610 is the main Earth.
Okay.
And then 42 is the one with the Prowler.
Okay.
And then I don't remember the other.
Yeah. But then if you saw the one when it was 2099.
Yeah.
It was much more futuristic.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you. I like the fact that you can distinguish where each one is, based on which universe that they're in. At the very beginning where they're having the fight with the Vulture, but the Vulture was paper.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was cool because you knew immediately that he's not from this universe.
Yeah.
Right? But then we could say the same thing at the very end where Miles Morales thought that he was in his timeline or his universe, but he was actually in 43 versus 42 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember.
But he wasn't. They were so close you couldn't even tell.
Yeah, I thought right away I kind of figured he was in the wrong spot because I remember noticing that like when he first entered like the universe that he thought was his, like
Sure.
the rain was like green.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of the first indicator.
Yeah.
And then there was also them Miguel mentioned that like the spider that bit him wasn't from his universe. It was kind of like he didn't believe it, and so we kind of didn't know for sure. And then that's really solidified it when you know had that big reveal at the end.
Sure.
Cool. So I guess we get into one thing you loved about the movie and one thing you didn't like so much. Who wants to start?
I'll go. The one thing I didn't like, and it's like a double-edged sword, is like just how it ended.
Okay.
Like the cliffhanger, which is what you want. Like you want to be left like that, but at the same time, it's like I gotta wait till March to see the next one.
Right.
It's not like I have to wait till next week to see the next episode. I gotta wait 9 months to see the next one. But that's not even really a complaint. My favorite thing about the movie, I really like the dynamic that he had with his parents. Like how like there was like it was like testing water. You know what I mean? It was rough there. Like because the parents like kind of knew like, oh, he's growing up, he's 15, he's like a teenager, all that. But at the same time, they like want to set him up for success, but then they don't know that he's got this whole like Spider-Man thing going on. Right. So he's trying to balance all that, and that's like, I think the beauty of all the Spider-Man movies is like him trying to juggle like, hey, like I'm a high school student, I'm a college student, whatever it may be. But then I'm also Spider-Man at the same time. It's like I need to be at this meeting for college with my parents, but I also like there's supervillains out there. You know what I mean? There's Spock going around doing things. So it's kind of juggling that and seeing like the dynamic between him and his parents, like trying to navigate that. That was really cool. But that's like every Spider-Man movie. So,
all right, Brayden, give me one.
I think there's some moments that were like kind of frustrating, but also like I'm kind of meant to feel that way. Like for example, when he found out that Peter Parker, like the dad Peter Parker, and Gwen like both knew that he was kind of...
They basically being set up.
Yeah, he was being set up, and I thought that was kind of like damaged a bit of like that connection that they built up in the first movie, and then...
Yeah, he felt betrayed.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, it's intentional, like it's supposed to feel that way, but it just kind of like put like a bad feeling in my stomach just because it was sad, I guess.
Yeah. He felt everyone was against him at that point.
Yeah.
Because he thought that the two people that were really like... in his corner.
Yeah, especially when he had like that one scene where Peter like took him like away from like the whole chase.
Yeah.
And like they had like that whole moment.
Yeah.
And then just to find out that it was still...
It was part of the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked, I think like the first like 20 minutes, the opening scene, we didn't like even like have Miles at all. It was all like Gwen's backstory.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd get so much of Gwen.
And it was
that
was a lot.
I'm happy we did.
That was a
like,
lot of that.
First 50 minutes was Gwen.
There's just a lot of scenes in the movie, but at no point did like I ever feel like there was something that could have been taken out. Like it was all important and it was all like entertaining to watch. Like
I was almost like I almost forgot that like they didn't do like any opening like credits. Like the movie started and it went for 20 minutes and then it was just like, okay, like that was the introduction to the story. It's like you almost forgot just because there was so much going on. I will say though, not to cut you off, probably like one of the more shocking things to me was how her dad was so ingrained with him. Like he didn't even care that it was his kid.
Yeah.
He was like, you killed... Like, I don't care if you're my daughter, you killed Peter Parker, even though she really didn't. He was just like, I'm not even going to listen to what you're saying, put your hands up.
Right.
So, it's not that I was really surprised by that, but it was just kind of like, eye-opening.
I think,
come on,
I think there's like an intentional contrast between like her dad and then Miles' parents who are showing support like constantly throughout the movie, because it is like a big theme is like the importance of family, especially in this movie. And I think at the end, it was supposed to be like, kind of like a big moment for Miles, like once he has the courage to like tell his mom, and then because like also in, like I knew like in the comics I think there is like one like sort of I guess plot point where like he does tell his mom, like that's a thing that happens in the comics, like his mom knows, and I just felt like we were gonna get that moment throughout the whole movie,
and then it's like wait,
and then it was
different
kind of
timeline or different timeline, different universe. So.
So I guess I'll start with there was a couple things I didn't like. I'll start with Spot's origin story.
Yeah.
It was just a corny.
It was corny.
Peter Parker, you caused this. I feel like we've just seen that so many times already throughout the Spider-Mans and even in Iron Man a lot.
And it's
I just feel like we just see it so many times. Like, I wish they had a little bit different origin story for Spot, but I just felt they got a little bit lazy with that. Like,
no, that's fair.
With like the factory, the factory blew up or something.
Yeah,
and
no, that's actually a good
Spot.
point you make, because it's very. You hate to use the word lazy.
Yeah.
But it's like they needed to find someone that was in the previous movie to rope in, but it wasn't someone of any real significance. It was just kind of like, they had significance, but it was just a random.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they just made it some worker in the lab that they went to steal the computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Spider-Man hit him or something. I don't remember.
I don't know exactly what happened. It's kind of like vague, kind of how to describe it too.
He was there when like the collider blew up, I think.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, instead of killing him, it just like he absorbed it.
Yeah.
But I think I don't remember completely, but he was like trying to do something before it blew up. Like he kind of had his plan in motion, and then like that thing happened, and it just kind of, it was like a blessing and a curse for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we've seen that. So we saw, I'm thinking like, so like basically Iron Man made the Mysterio villain because he used the barf thing. Yeah. And then Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was mad about that. He didn't get any credit. And you also saw like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, like Electro became him because of Spider-Man. He blamed it on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like we've seen it before.
It's classic. It's the way that they do it.
It's the way they do it.
No,
that's fine. And then I think Toby's, I guess you could say Venom, right?
Yeah.
That Spider-Man 3. He kind of like, Eddie thinks that it was a Peter's part.
They had resentment towards Spider-Man, but it was like indirect. It wasn't that Spider-Man did anything really wrong to them directly. Right. It was like they were just another like voice in the crowd, and they were affected by something that he did, so they just like turned to a world of evil.
So yeah, I just feel like we saw that a lot of times already. But other than that, not much complaints. I know like how you guys like the dynamic of the parents and Miles. I also thought we already saw that before too.
But that's like classic Spider-Man.
Yeah, in Spider-Man Homecoming you saw it with, Iron Man and his mom, or in Aunt May. You kind of saw that already, like Spider-Man like not understanding that he's only a teenager and can't do whatever he wants. Like we saw that a couple of times. Didn't really see it in the Tobey Maguire's ones. Didn't really see it in the Andrew Garfield's, but I do feel like we already saw that with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. I do like the overall dynamic. Like I understand that, like Miles Morales is a teenager, and I don't know. I guess maybe because like I never felt that way as a teenager, where I didn't have my like freedom that he's asking
I know what you mean
for. I just can't. I mostly probably because I can't really like relate. To like Miles Morales and his parents not wanting to.
And it's like that's such.
And it's just his parents just want what's best for him, but they don't know his alter ego, obviously.
Yeah, and it's not.
So it does get like frustrating at times.
And that's not even like, to me, that's like a critique, but it's like, it's not something that they did wrong.
Yeah.
The movie. It's not something that's like they should not have done it this way.
Right.
They just did it by the blueprint. That's just how it's done in prior movies. It's worked in prior movies. They're saying, let's roll with it.
Right.
It wasn't that it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was just, we've seen this before.
I just feel like it's slightly, what's the word I'm looking for?
Been there, done that kind of thing?
Yeah, what's the word?
I know what you mean.
Cliche, yeah.
Cliche.
A little bit cliche. But that's only the two really complaints that I have. And then one thing I really like I said, I think I already said before, I like the callbacks they had a callback to Toby. They mentioned Doctor Strange.
You like that?
Yeah. I think it's cool how they bring everything together into one universe. I think it was that Venom Venom scene.
The gas station clerk.
The gas station clerk. That's a Venom reference, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, so I think that's kind of cool. Not that I love the Venom movies, but it's cool how they could bring everything together. And then I think you said this yesterday after the movie, like that Lego universe.
Yeah, that was cool.
I just think that's cool that they tie a bunch of different universes together into one. Like obviously that's why they call it Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. But yeah, they just execute it really well in my opinion. Just they don't like bring the other Spiders in too much. But they like just enough
to make
where
it
it's, like,
confusing.
but like just enough so it's like cool to see them all together and like see all the different worlds. So I think they definitely executed that perfectly.
I think the HQ scene was so cool.
The what?
The headquarters scene where there's like
All the different Spider-Mans, where there was like the dinosaur Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then they had like real people. Like it was an animated movie, but they were like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just kind of like solidified the fact, like just
How
everything's
everything goes
canon,
together.
you know?
Yeah.
Like everything goes.
So yeah,
Cool.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Any tidbits?
Just
Any?
kind of to build off what you said, I feel like even if it didn't have all those callbacks, it still would have been like a great movie either way. I think sometimes movies kind of rely too heavy on the callbacks and kind of forget that there's supposed to be like a story that's separate from
Yeah.
everything. And I think it's ability with not
Yeah.
relying too much on like fan service, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they could have gotten like real
Totally.
crazy with it, and they could have had like Tobey Maguire in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have done that, right? That would have
Yeah.
been, that would have been that could have been a real possibility of this movie. While
Mhm.
there was like an arc where Miles Morales, like the cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
and Tobey Maguire, real life, were like fighting. Like that could have been
Yeah.
like that's just how crazy this movie is.
Yeah.
But they didn't get carried away. They just kind of like, let's just like grab from this movie,
Yeah.
grab from this universe, and do that, and then just call to it because fans will appreciate that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And also, just one more thing, was that Donald Glover as like the
Yeah,
live
Childish
action?
Gambino,
So is he
yeah.
supposed to be like the MCU? Because he was in a deleted scene from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes.
So is that supposed to be like a
No, he was
an
in
MCU?
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but he was also in another like deleted scene, I think, where he was like on the phone with Miles.
Yeah, but he was very
Oh,
wasn't he
yeah,
very
yeah.
insignificant. Like he wasn't like huge.
He was just like
he was
he
like
was like
a
in on like the Vulture like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he knew something about the Vulture, but he wasn't like a bad guy. He was just like kind of there. But,
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I was like, was that Childish Gambino?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh,
It was, yeah.
I think he's on some of the songs in the soundtrack too.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would assume. I know Sway Lee
Yeah.
Blues. He's on some of them. J.I.D. on some of them.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about the soundtrack at all? I know you're a big rap guy.
Yeah,
Have you
I
listened
mean,
to the soundtrack? in
I
full?
did listen to the soundtrack. The only thing, and
I didn't love it. I thought the first one was better, but yeah.
I agree that I think the first one was better too. And I feel like the songs weren't really in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there were very few instances where you actually heard
Yeah.
the songs that are on the soundtrack. Which the soundtrack's still good.
Yeah.
There just wasn't like a ton of
Right. I mean,
like,
that's-
oh, I hear that song.
Yeah, you
I
can
just
look at
heard
that. You can look at it as a positive, though, as saying, "Oh, they didn't rely too much on
They
the
didn't.
soundtrack
No, they
to
didn't.
make the plot."
And then Metro Boomin produced the
Yeah,
whole soundtrack,
yeah,
and
right.
he was in the movie.
Really?
He was one of the Spider-Man. Yeah, he was like
Okay.
the DJ Spider-Man.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
it was cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. They have that kind of stuff.
Little things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool. Anything else you guys want to add?
That's all I got.
Cool.
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed Across the Spider-Verse just as much as we did. We thought it was an excellent movie. Can't wait for the third one. Obviously, left that big cliffhanger for us. So yeah, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Comment what you guys think. Give us your opinions on the movie and what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and other stuff. And we'll respond to you and give us our thoughts. So thank you for listening. Brayden, Collin, and Braeden, and we'll see you next time.